In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to effectively play Bunny in the first Descendant. Now, Bunny is one of the first characters that you're going to have to go ahead and unlock, and she's actually a very good one to go ahead and play as long as you know what you're doing and you are using it effectively. Now, I'm not going to cover sort of the build that you should go for, as I already have a video on the channel about the best build for Bunny. I'm going to talk about more like the mechanics of actually playing her and essentially what all of her skills do and how they will work. So, you can see right now I'm kind of in a bit of a rough situation, and one of the first things you want to use a lot is the roll. This is going to get you out of a lot of situations here. Now, something else that I use very often is this. It's on my V. It's this one here, which is kind of like a radius electric shock. And this is basically going to go ahead and shock all of the enemies within a 3-meter radius of your player. So this is a really, really good one, and it's super useful if you have a ton of enemies coming up against you. So you can see right now I've got a ton of enemies coming up against me, and this is going to last for a long time, and it also does not affect the build up for your skill, which is on the end here. And you see when I'm doing missions like this, it's super effective to go ahead and use that. And it also replenishes very quickly, so you can pretty much always have this going for you. And I think you could probably just not even shoot. You could probably just stand still or just avoid the enemies, and you would just wipe them out just with the electricity. So this is a really, really good one that I'd recommend going ahead and using a lot. Now, something else that a lot of people don't actually know, one of her moves, is that when you do a double jump and you land, it's going to do an electric sort of shock. So if you see here, when I land, it's going to have like a little electric shock. So if you're in a bit where you've got like a lot of enemies around you, potentially like this, if you just jump around like this, you're going to be doing damage to them as well as getting out of the bad spot. So that's another move that you should go ahead and try and do because it is pretty effective. Now, as I said, I always usually have this sort of electric radius on, but also on the Q button for me on the very left, there's another one which is like an electric shock, which just does a one-time sort of burst of electricity to all of the enemies around you. Now, another thing that we have here that you can use is when you press C, you're gonna get like you're gonna sprint fast basically. It allows you to run really fast. It's not super useful. It's good if you're trying to get out of a bad situation. If you've got loads of things you just want to run away for a bit. So that's another thing you can go ahead and use. But by far the best ability here is the one on Z, which is like the skill where you basically shoot a laser. This is specifically good against bosses, so I wouldn't recommend doing it on one-off opponents because it doesn't last very long, but it does a lot of damage on bosses. So if I just fight here a second and I'll wait till like a bigger opponent comes in, I'll show you. Now, as you can see, there's lots of small enemies running towards me. It wouldn't be super effective just because it would be hard to aim onto them. By the time I have aimed onto them, it's going to have probably run out. So let me just find an enemy in a second that I can do this with. Something else to note as well, with this radius shock one, if you go near these gas tanks, it is going to blow it up. So you just need to be careful of that because you'll do damage on yourself for that as well. So let's say this guy here, actually let's just wait for a better enemy. Let's say this guy here, the Storm Warrior, we can go ahead, if we press Z on it, it's going to go ahead basically laser through him. Now you can't see the damage it did there, but this is going to laser through them, and it's going to do probably 10 to 20,000 damage per second right now at least. But that's basically how you can go ahead and play her, all of the different mechanics that you can use. She's a really good one to use, and when you master her, it's super easy to kind of blast through waves of enemies. But if you enjoyed the video and found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe, comment down below that helped, and let me know if there's any other videos you'd like me to make about the first Descendant or any other game in particular.